everybody. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Two Putts Pod. I'm Jake Landry.
Nick Huff here, and you can see me today.
Hey, yeah, if you're watching, we are now officially on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, we got Nick's face up today, which is a great change of pace from our first one last week. But if you're listening, we are going to have some YouTube exclusive stuff at the end that we're not going to include in the pod. But if you are listening, if you do finish the episode and you want to jump on there, we're going to have a nice little segment. But, last week was a tough one, Nick, because we troubleshooted the video for like an hour before we got on.
Facts, yo. Yeah, facts.
And Kelly, who is, again, former employee of the month, continuing to be a front runner for the month. I guess it is the end of March, so it is time for us to make that decision. We haven't talked about it yet. But I went in, I always check in with her on Monday morning. She hit me with were you guys tired? Okay, that's an indication of how it went, and so
it was a polite way of saying, that week sucked.
And that's the thing is, we have an open dialogue at Two Putts. We really are. We're all about feedback loops. Okay, we're also about authority. We did give her a write up for insubordination at the same time, but we appreciate that she was willing, to sacrifice getting that write up to give us the feedback. So we're coming in hot. We got a lot of good stuff. Okay. So go ahead, please.
I'm just going to say right now, so for those of you who are watching on YouTube, the angle of me is looking good, but I wish I could show you a setup. Jake told me to grab some books. Dude, I got some folded pants ready to roll. That's what the computer's sitting on.
I like it. Listen, I'm happy. It's beautiful. So we always start with something that's kind of getting me, and we had a text exchange this week, Nick, because, there's a lot of things that go on in all of our lives and all of the things that we do. And sometimes I like to just think deeply and make connections and think about bigger things like, hey, but this thing is happening now, but is this part of a bigger thing? So I sent you a text message that I really thought about. It was eloquent. It was, it was a thought. It was a brainstorm, but I tried to send you a big thing. And your response was, it makes sense, but it's too much thinking for me. And dude, I gotta come out against this you think too much type of reaction to people. I think all y'all are out here not thinking enough. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. I'm putting everyone on notice, Nick, including you. I'm sorry. Because you got a great brain. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I use that from 7:30 to 4:30. And it shuts off when I get home, dude.
It was a 6 o'clock. I will say it was after work hours.
Yeah, dude, no. There's no way I'm thinking after. I'm not even thinking on the highway. If I get so, dude, there's no shot I'm thinking at 6:30, bro. No. And it was a good point. The issue was it was like 3 paragraphs in one text bubble, which for those of you immediately no. Immediately no.
Well, so here's the thing, and we saw this with my message to Dom last week. I'm a product of 90s into early 2000s. I'm very formal in my writing. I don't know how to write informally. If I write informally, I'm a poser. If I write the way I write, I'm cringy and lame. Tell me what options I have, Nick. Tell me what options I have.
Dude, I mean, at least you're staying true to yourself. Cringy and lame, brother. But no, dude, what you got to do is the 3 paragraphs just each have to be their own blob.
It's fair I didn't do that. It's fair I didn't do that.
That's etiquette, dude.
So if you're giving me permission to do that, here we go. And maybe this is just for the pod, but I'm going to take this as we had this conversation now. I'm actually glad we're doing this. This is good for us.
I will not read it. I will not read it.
Okay, so it'd be better if I did it that way, but once you see that, it's an instant, we're not, this is a skim at best.
So here's the thing, it gets you, bro. If you, the one big blob, I'm like, oh, hell no. Once I have to scroll, forget it. But the blob, you could be typing and I can read it. All right, well, now the next one's coming. Read it. Next one's coming. Read it. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this, because this is just coming to me now, but my texting style is a lot of really small messages. When I'm really going.
That's the way to do it.
That's better. Okay, so just a bunch of da-da-da, 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 and I'm thinking live versus putting all that thinking into one big paragraph. I'm into that. I feel like people don't want too many notifications. So you got to be present.
Wait, I'm opening my phone right now, dude. I have...
Can we talk about something now? Can we talk about...
27 unopened text messages.
Well, but let's talk about... we talked about you and the butt crack community and your real act of courage stepping up with that. And I want to talk about another Nick Huff courageous act that I would not do. And that's having my read receipts on. Like, that secret of whether I've looked at your text or not is so precious to me. Like, I do not want you knowing that. And, like, if that makes me a duplicitous, manipulative person, then put me in that box, I guess. But, like, that's information that I'm keeping close. I'm not good at poker, but that I'm keeping close, Nick.
I mean, dude, if I'm going to ignore you, you're going to know it. But 95% of the time, I'm not ignoring you on purpose. I usually forget to text or I click it and then something comes up. Like, yeah, it's I just have it on. If I'm going to be real with you, I don't know how to turn it off, so.
Well, I'm giving you a bunch of credit, but all right. So I had a car issue, Nick. And let's say this. For everyone out there, if your brakes are grinding, okay, and you're...
Go immediately.
Well, and go immediately, and let me tell you what happens if you don't. Because I will say this. I was waiting for this weekend. I swear, Nick, I was going to do it today, okay? But Thursday, so this is Friday, yesterday, came into work, didn't have it done. It had been the last snowstorm, I don't know, let's say 4 weeks, maybe 5, but a decent amount of too much driving on grinding brakes. And dude, it was a poop show too because I forgot to bring my cell phone charger home, and long story short, the plug-in doesn't work, so I have to use a magnetic strip. Don't have one of those at home. Had to come back. Literally, I came in early. Nick's like, "Are you really leaving to go get coffee now?" And I was like, I am going. I'm leaving again. So I had already gone to work, and now I'm leaving to go get coffee. I pull down to leave. Clink, 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 clink. A piece has now fallen out of my car. That's called the caliper. So I learned that, okay? That was not the brake pad. Yeah, go, please.
Dude, just for those of you who are listening, where we work, the closest Dunkin' has to be at least 15 minutes away.
It was, yeah. So that's the thing. So I'm driving, and actually going there wasn't bad. Coming back, let's just put it this way. I feel like when you push down on a brake, there's 2 layers. There's the stop layer, and then there's the slam on my brakes layer. I wasn't slamming, but I had to push down to that layer to get it to stop on the way back. And that's when I was like, all right, we're bringing it in. Long story short, bring it in. Guy's calling me today, get the thing done, feeling good. And I got a call to figure out when I'm going to pick it up. But we had just gotten lunch from this poor Vietnamese restaurant. And I go to call them because I've been going with Meineke back and forth. So that's that unknown number at the top of my thing. But it was the restaurant, Nick. And I called and I go, yeah, my name's Robert Landry, I'm going to pick it up, And she goes, sir, this is a restaurant. Like, I don't know what you're saying to me. And Melanie was sitting there and she died, dude. And it was like, and then when I called the car place, they're like, you don't have to call us to schedule to pick it up. Just come. And I was like, wow. So anyway.
Wait. You called the schedule to pick it up? They had let you know it was done. And you called, yeah, can I pick it up around 1:30? There's no shot you did that.
My mom helped me with the payment. So she texted me and was like, hey, now all you have to do is arrange with them to pick it up. I should have just gone. I knew. So this is where, like, those 50-50 junctures, Nick, I don't know what to do because my mom's like, schedule with them to pick it up. And I'm like, I don't have to arrange with them to pick it up. But my mommy told me to do it, so I should call because my mom told me to do it. And I ended up calling the Vietnamese restaurant instead.
Dude, you know what? I'll give you a pass. If my mom told me to arrange a pickup time, I'm calling.
Thank you.
I'm calling.
Because she helped me.
I'll give you a pass on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Do dogs and cats have lips?
Just right into it. Yes, dogs have lips, cats don't, bro.
So here's the thing. Here's how this came about today. Melanie's cleaning, whatever, and one of my cats, my sweet angel cat, is on, her footstool, and I grabbed her face, gave her a smooch, and I'm like, I just kissed Casper on the lips. I jokingly say that to make her jealous. She's not really jealous of Casper, so it does have the intended effect. But anyway, then I was like, do cats have lips? She didn't have a definite answer. And here's my thing, Nick. This is one of those things that, yes, it's the information age. We can search everything. I think this question, I don't want to know what the scientists say, because I feel like we should be able to have an opinion on this. And I went to Casper, I looked, I consider it a lip. I see something there, and it looks like a lip to me. It's thin. It's not the lip I typically go for, but there is a lip there, Nick.
Well, let's think about the function of the lip, dude. The function of the lip is to shut the mouth and keep stuff from coming out. So cats can, now that you're thinking about it, cats can do that. They eat, so they must have lips.
So cats have lips.
Dogs just have lips.
So glad we can
dude,
work that
easy.
out. That was
you don't even have to look it up.
Perfect. Just want to make sure we're good on that one. So, first of all, Nick, we've talked about this before. And let me just take a step back. Netflix is great, right? Netflix, and I was thinking about it today because I randomly put on Bo Burnham, okay? Because I think something popped up on Instagram. A song sounded like him. I don't know if you remember during COVID, he released Inside. Did you watch Inside? The Bo Burnham?
Which one was that? Was that
so
I Am
that
the
was
Left Brain? That one?
That was the one where it was COVID. We were all inside for a long time, and Bo Burnham released an album. Because remember, like, and I'm not a Bo Burnham guy, but for those of you who don't know, he's an artist he's probably similar to my age, which is 33. He was one of the first YouTube stars in terms of making music, making funny music, kind of like Weird Al Yankovic, but almost like a modern version. He suffered from terrible panic attacks, had to stop performing. All of a sudden, COVID happens, and, you know, life is just different. And Bo Burnham got this gig with Netflix to make a special called Inside. So it's very, it's deep. Like, it's the struggles with depression and COVID and all the things, but it's also like a funny album with a bunch of stuff. So anyway, this random post came up and I was looking at it and I was just thinking, like, dude, Netflix is like, they've done it right sometimes. And one of the things that they've done it right with is the international programming, Nick. Okay, I'm glad that eye roll was guys, we have the first Nick eye roll captured on video. Now you know the bull that I've been having to deal with this whole time. Please respond to the eye roll before I continue.
Dude, the
international programming isn't good?
I can only name like 6 international things on Netflix.
Okay,
are there
but
more?
Well, my wife is Brazilian, so her family, you know, we all kind of share accounts, you know, the type of thing. Plenty of Portuguese and Brazilian programming, plenty of Korean programming, which is where I'm going, which I really enjoy. So here's the thing: you guys are limited. You guys are limited because the subtitles is a speed bump for you guys that you're having trouble.
No, not the subtitles, not the subtitles, but yeah, no, I know, yeah. Yep.
But here's my point. Korean programming is pretty great, and the game shows are great, and here's why, Nick. It's so respectful.
Stop.
It's so respectful. No. And dude, this is like my thing with like people falling for the wrong person. The Korean shows for me, respectful wise, I'm like, let's go. I love it. Let's go. For example, one of my favorite shows is The Physical 100. Okay? It's basically, and shout out to Discovery Channel back in the day where they used to have, I was going to research it, I didn't have time to. They used to have these like sports competitions where it was like Ultimate Fighter and they'd go and like learn different, like the different season would be like a different kind of karate or something and da-da-da. So that's what started my passion in this, or like watching these shows. But The Physical 100 is 100 people. They're competing for basically $300,000. And it's not similar to Squid Games, but it is in the sense that there's a psychological component to some of the games. And that's the thing with Korean programming, bro. It's just that the game shows are very interesting, but there's such a respect between the opponents. And let me give you an example. So I was watching last night, way later than I should have been up, but that's how Physical 100 goes because the episodes are long. And 2 wrestlers ended up the last 2 on a competition. And one of those wrestlers is a high schooler, and the other wrestler is like in his 30s. And before the match, the high schooler wrestler was like, I'm so honored for this match that we're about to do. And he got knees down, all the way down like a down dog. Is that, no, what is it? Not like a happy.
Child's pose.
Child's pose, but with the hands in front. A full like bow down. And it was instantaneous. It was a quick bow. But it was and it was like, dude, it was great. It was great. And then they had an amazing clash. That doesn't happen in American programming, Nick. And I don't understand. I'm outing you. What's your problem with Korean respectfulness? Seriously, what's your deal?
Dude, first off, for $300,000, if I got a wrestling match, dude, I'm kicking that dude in the balls so fast. There's not even a time for us to have I'm not bowing you. And then when you lose, you just lost $300K, dog. Dude, there's no way.
But
no
you're
way I'm gonna be like,
emblematic
wow.
of the problem. And me too, because I'm a little punk ass dude. You know me well enough to know. I'm a little punk. I wish I had the Korean standards of respect, bro.
No, dude, no. Dude, even in Little League, they'll like bow, the Asian cultures will bow. I'm like, dude, just go play ball, bro. No one's here to watch you. Oh, and everyone just like you is like, they're so respectful. I'm like, dude, I hope they get mollywopped.
I don't know what that is or if I should bleep it, but here's what I'm going to say right now. We could all use some bowing in our culture. Just a little bow, dude. You know what?
Well, here's what I will say.
I think you and I should start bowing to our kids when they come in our room.
No.
I'm thinking about it. We'll talk about it on Monday. Monday morning we'll talk about it.
No, here's the thing. Dude, I lost my train of thought.
We'll talk about it.
Dude, the high schooler spoke to that man with an honorific, dude, just like you want us to.
This is what I'm saying, is we have an understanding of my expectation of you to use an honorific. And I think the bowing would just continue the momentum that we've already built.
Dude, no, you make me sick, dude. Dude, they're soft, bro.
Let's talk about dad lessons for a second. And I'm going to go, so Nick had a full-on revelation this week. And I'll tell you, for me, mine happened in college. When I was in 4th grade, I was a big fan of Joan of Arc. Okay? And we never talk about her. So maybe we'll do a Joan of Arc segment next week. But
I don't even know who that is, dude.
Brought a book home, showed it to my dad. He's just flipping through the pages, and I'm like, Dad, are you even reading the pages? I'm a speed reader, Jake. Okay, I'm a speed reader. I'm sitting there like, am I gonna get that? Because I'm your son, right? Never came to me. It wasn't until college one day where I was like, I've never seen another speed reader in my life. I guess that wasn't even true. Well, Nick, you and I were walking out of work. Go ahead, pick it up.
So we're walking out of work, and I'm chewing a piece of gum, and we're walking, and I throw it out of my mouth, and Jake goes,
the dumpster is 3 feet away.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's like, Nick, we're gonna walk by the dumpster. Like, are you serious? And I'm like, no, dude. Like, it's all good. A bird's gonna pick that up and build a nest with it. So
and I'm like, are you serious?
Dude, he not only does he say, "Are you serious?" He then goes, "Yeah, the bird's gonna choke on that and die." And I'm like, "Dude, no, they're not." So it started when I was a little kid. We're driving in the car, and my dad throws a piece of gum out the window, and I'm like, "Dad, what are you doing?" He's like, "No, Nick, it's all good. Don't even worry about it. Don't even stress. Like, the birds use it as like mortar for the foundation of the nest."
Mortar.
I'm like,
hit you
dude,
with the mortar.
Genius.
I mean, how could you deny the mortar?
And here's the thing. I've done it multiple times with Jeannie, and Jeannie has called me out on it, right? She'll go, yeah, no, that's not true. And I just refused to believe it. Refused. And so when Jake, and I also thought Jeannie was kind of just busting me. So when Jake
second opinion
was like, what are you doing? Mind blowing. I'm like, man, you know how many birds I've killed? At least 100. At least.
And I added as well, because I'm just, gonna go all the way. They're young. If the mom doesn't choke on it on her way home, she brings it home for her young. Think about that while you're thinking about this. Yeah, I gotta say that one. I did research. I genuinely looked up multiple sources, and actually, I took a screenshot. I just remembered this live, so I found an article That was the do's and don'ts of helping birds build nests in your backyards, okay? Allaboutbirds.com. And here's their list of the don't provide. I was really sad that gum wasn't on here, but I felt like this was worth commenting on. Plastic strips, tinsel. That's the stuff that people put on Christmas trees, the sparkly stuff. Cellophane, aluminum foil, dryer lint. I'm going to tell you something right now, Nick. We don't use that little strip. Is it fabric softener? Is that what it's called? That little, dryer sheets? Dude.
Yeah, just a dryer sheet, yeah.
Don't do that to your clothes. Chemicals. Hashtag chemicals. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm telling you. Don't do it. A scam that we think is real and that we need, put in your clothes in the dryer without it and tell me what's the difference besides the smell. There is no difference.
I've never used a dryer sheet in my life.
Thank you. Well, then I guess there's no argument to have here, so we might as well just move on from it.
Dude, bro, I didn't do laundry until after I graduated college.
That's incredible.
I would bring it home. My mom would do it. Dude.
Wow.
And now Jeannie won't do it, so I'm really like a lost dog over here.
Hashtag privilege.
I mean, when you got it, flaunt it, baby.
So, okay. Now we'll talk sports for a second. Last year, Nick, for me, was the rebirth of baseball. For me. Okay? Because I'm not a Todd Helton guy, as has been well covered on the podcast. I'm not going to be able to understand who that person is or give any care whatsoever. However, I did take the history of baseball as a class, sociology class, so I have pockets of information and understanding that you might be surprised about for someone who is a casual fan. However, I would say that I'm trying to become. I'm being as honest as I can be right now. However, I'm into it. I'm loving it. I'm having a great time, okay? But so much more than me recently, but you might be surprised over the long run, where we measure up. But the game has changed recently, Nick. On a serious note, when we go back to COVID and right before COVID, the game was in the worst place it had been in a long, long time. I mean, the way that analytics had impacted pitch changes and the amount of pitch changes that were occurring, the games were taking 4 to 5 hours long. No one was interested. It was real bad, and COVID really was a low point. Now, there have been some delicious scandals over the years, like, for example, the, Spider Tack pitching scandal where they were using sticky substances to make their spin rate go up and da-da-da, but I doubt most people were paying attention to that. But they've gotten rid of that. They do mound checks and da-da-da to make sure that pitchers are playing the right way. But the most important thing in terms of last season that was introduced was the pitch clock. And Nick, I think we've talked about it. You're thumbs up on the pitch clock, right?
Yeah, I'm thumbs up. I'm interested to see the long-term data that's going to come up because there were a lot of injuries. But as of right now,
it's a better product.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
If the fans come first, it's better.
Yeah, but yeah, it's tricky because if fans come first, I agree, it is better. But also, if all of these aces are getting hurt, I agree. I like the pitch clock, but I'm interested.
Who's getting hurt?
Garrett Cole's hurt right now. Sandy Alcantara's
I was wondering why Garrett Cole didn't start on opening day yesterday. So that's why, because he's hurt.
A lot of these aces are getting hurt, and is it the pitch clock or is it how taxing the pitches are on the body? Who knows? But I'm interested to see what the data is going to show.
All right,
dude. Such a triggering word, but as of right now, fan of the pitch clock, dude. Love it. Love it.
If you're someone who's been on the fence with baseball, not sure, if it's your thing or if you're interested in it anymore, it's never been a better time to jump on a bandwagon. So I thought, Nick, it would be good to kind of talk about, with opening day being yesterday, we've had some good games today, some teams that people might want to follow. Now, we'll talk about our philosophies on how we pick teams, I guess, later. For me, I'm not going to give you a team that I think will even go to the World Series. But listen, last year, it was two very obscure teams. Texas and Arizona Diamondbacks made it to the World Series. So we talked about maybe 2 weeks ago about hockey and how hockey is very open in the playoffs. Baseball is similar, which is a good thing, I think. So my two teams, Nick, I'm sorry. I know one of them you're going to hate 100%. The first one, well, I'll do the one you hate first. The Miami Marlins, dude. The Miami Marlins made some moves at the end of the season last year to acquire Jake Berger. They have an amazing pitcher in Lizarralde. What's his name? I totally forget.
Lizardo and Alcantara, who's out. So
they have some great pitching, some great young. Well, Alcantara isn't as young as Lizardo, but great pitching.
He's young, but his arm he throws like 240 innings every year.
So they're a fun product. I'm going to tell you, they're a fun, scrappy product. Miami Marlins, they're a team that you'd watch to say, hey, can they make the playoffs and make something interesting happen? They did not make the playoffs last year, but they were a fun team to root for. The other team for me, which is a similar thing, is the Cincinnati Reds. Young team, very young roster. And if you heard about any of the players, it was Elly De La Cruz, who Nick will agree is one of the most exciting players in the MLB right now, yes?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And Encarnacion Strand, they have a couple of players. McLean, he just went down. He has an injury. He'll be back. Cincinnati is a fun team. If you decide to go for the MLB package and follow some teams, it is kind of expensive. But last season, about like 30 to 40 games into the season, the price for the MLB, the price, my cat just walked in the picture for everyone on the pod. But the price went down in the middle of the season. So if you're hanging this summer and you need something to get interested in, I did that last summer with baseball, and it was terrific. The Miami Marlins and the Cincinnati Reds are fun teams that aren't dominant. They're not incredible. Some nights they're going to not show up. But in terms of exciting teams that you could also turn on and see something that, for example, Elly De La Cruz last year stole home, which is a fun thing. He had some really, I think he had an in the park home run. I might be making that up, but he had some very electric plays last season that ended up being highlights that people talked about as like the coolest thing that's happened for a long time. And if you watch those teams, like I happen to, I saw them live. So if you're into that sort of idea of seeing teams overachieve, then those teams you might like. But go ahead, Nick. Give us the teams that are odds-on favorites to win, that are the most exciting to watch.
First off, dog, your whole thing was they're young, fun teams to watch. So my two teams, and I'm going to start with the team that's won 100 games in back-to-back years. But they're fun. They're good. If you're going to start baseball, they hit home runs. They strike people out. Like, if you're going to get into baseball, this is a team you should watch, dude. The Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Braves, like, I know that they're the best. They're like UConn, my pick last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever. But they strike people out. They play good defense. Ronald Acuna Jr. stole 75 bases last year. Matt Olson hit 50 home runs. Like, there are all these players that just do exciting things. And if you're new to baseball, you want to see the strikeouts. You want to see the homers. I think they would be, and they just put a good product out. Can I
pause you to support you? So they're actually playing right now. And when we started the podcast, they were down 2-0 to Philly. I looked at it right before we started, and their game was postponed. So this is their first game of the season, Atlanta and Philly. And they now have 9 runs to 2. And they have got an absolute run as soon as Wheeler, the starting pitcher for Philly, was pulled, who had been throwing a great game. So exactly what you're saying, Nick. If you want to watch a game where you're going to see the bat swung and some exciting things happen, I agree. Atlanta is that team. And listen, they had an underwhelming playoffs last year, right? They got eliminated, and so I'm with you. They're kind of like the Celtics, where it's like, does any of this regular season matter? Because we know they're going to be there, and are they going to perform when it matters? You know, they kind of have that feel a little bit. But I agree with you. If you're interested in following a team that's a little bit off the beaten path, and originally from Boston, Atlanta Braves are a good one.
And then my other team is an even younger team. They have the number 1 overall prospect. They just sent him down. Won 100 games last year, but brand new, floundered out in the playoffs. The Baltimore Orioles, dude. They're another team that's very exciting, very good. Now, look, they don't have the household names yet like the Atlanta Braves do, like the Ronald Acuna Jr.'s, but they're coming. Don't get it twisted. They're a fun team. They just signed Corbin Burns, who is one of my favorite pitchers to watch. Dude, live on the pod, Hassan Reddick to the Jets.
Woo!
Dude, the best pass rusher on the Eagles?
All right, listen. You give me some analysis. Go.
Analysis, dude. He's had 10 sacks in every year of his career, dude. The Jets defense has just gotten even better.
But what happens when Aaron Rodgers has to leave because he's running for office? Did you not hear about this?
No, I heard about it.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I didn't mean to upset you. I'm just glad people can see your face because I thought that reaction was a little overblown, but we'll let the people decide. Please comment on YouTube. How was that reaction? Overblown?
I hate Aaron Rodgers. No, but back to the Orioles.
Which is a great pick, by the way.
Good team, fun team, young.
I'm glad to see that you were really diligent about following the task this week. Keep going.
Dude, fun teams, bro. And here's the thing: were they both 100-win teams last year? Yeah. But you know what? If you're new to baseball and you want to pick a team, why not pick a good one that hasn't been good?
I'll tell you what. If you were going to choose between the Baltimore Orioles and the Atlanta Braves, the Baltimore Orioles would be more fun because, again, you're just rooting for them to make the playoffs and then make a run. Whereas the Atlanta, I think your expectations are going to be a lot higher based on, how good they are. So I like it. I can't even give you a hard time for picking great teams because you did such a good job. So let's check in on Dom. Last week, we read a message that we sent to Dom, who is I am Dom at
it's Don't Call Dom.
At Don't Call Dom on Instagram, and we love him. We're a big fan. We think he's hilarious. He was on Perfect Match. Still haven't watched it yet. I need to watch it. Maybe that'll help us. But just an update. A new strategy that we have is I commented because he made a post. It was hilarious. And Nick responded to my comment, and then I responded back. And I did raise a good question, I think, Nick, which is, do you think we were left on red, or do you think he hasn't seen it yet? And I'm wondering what you think is a better situation for us.
Dude, I mean, I have my red receipts on, so you know how it is. You know how it goes. But I think being on red is not a good thing. I think if he hasn't seen it yet, we're in a better spot. And if he read it, dude, he had the chance to respond. He said, yo, who are these losers?
I'm trying to gas him up whenever he posts. And listen, it's authentic. I truly enjoy his posts. So I want, Dom, when you do end up listening to this and you are vetting us, I mean it when I say it. Good job, dude. Crushing it. And Nick, I think if you keep responding and we keep having conversations on his posts, that'll happen. So again, big interview coming, Dom. So we appreciate when you do respond to us. Nick, like I talked about the MLB having a few scandals here and there. We already have a scandal this season, which is Shohei Ohtani and this gambling scandal. And I don't know if I had a post. I was going to send it to you, but you made a comment about me sending you too much reels. So now I'm a little self-conscious when I message you. It's a thing I'm dealing with. We can put that to the side. But I saw a video, or it was a picture of, and it said, I know what it looks like when you're sweating a parlay. And it was Shohei Ohtani at an NBA game. And again, I didn't think about this at first, but if you don't know anything, Shohei Ohtani is probably the biggest name in baseball right now. The Dodgers spent an insane amount of money to sign him. And there's just been this scandal that's come out that his interpreter was, and this is what the Ohtani camp claims, his interpreter was stealing money and gambling with it. Now, I had not thought of this because I am pure of heart and don't think about people being malicious liars, but a lot of people are skeptical and think that maybe Shohei Ohtani actually did this gambling and that the interpreter is the fall guy. So, Nick, I've come up with a solution for this whole problem of players and gambling, but do you have any comment on Shohei Ohtani, the guy from the Raptors, or just gambling in sports in general?
I mean, it's just such a slippery slope when you make it like as big as it is now. Sports gambling is huge. People watch games that they never watched before. People get into sports that they never get into before because of gambling. So, I mean, it was inevitable, and it's happened in multiple sports, but it's inevitable that players will begin to gamble on themselves because they can create a huge parlay and they can control it. So here's extreme scenario. LeBron James. He could go look at his stats and hit under for everything, like for points, assists, and just go out and just stink up the joint on purpose.
So that would be fixing. But I want to say, though, that like the problem with gambling is the dopamine rush that's associated with it and the dangers that can come from that rush. Agreed? Right?
Yes.
That's the issue. However, we are, as a society, making that a legal experience for people. And so for athletes to expect that, let me ask you a question, Nick. Do you know what a draconian measure is? A draconian measure?
You know I don't.
It's one of those words that I read in so many like texts before I actually like looked up what it meant. But it's a just very strict and restrictive measure. Okay, it's like we have this problem. We're never gonna let people do this thing. Is a draconian measure. And here's the thing about draconian measures, Nick. They don't work. And what they force people to do is break the law because the law is so strict that it's not that it's not enforceable, it's not followable. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I'm picking that up.
My opinion is that to completely cut off players from the dopamine experience of gambling, which is at the same time being not only more legalized but more advertised, and it's like they are like literally we know that these big casinos, DraftKings, all these things are using our dopamine to get our money in gambling, and our government is making it more legalized than ever. And to think that players would be resistant to that is, I don't think, realistic. So during COVID, we basically were like, okay, March 13th, we're on our spring break. All of a sudden, school isn't coming back. What are we going to do? We're kindergarten teachers. Here we go. And I'm the tech guy, Nick. Okay? And basically, we used Google Classroom, and, not to pat my back or whatever, it wasn't anything crazy, but we organized an entire system of either passive videos or Zoom links to meetings that we would be on, and every student got individual schedules populated with links that brought them to their different things at the time of the day. All they had to do was it's Monday, click these links at these times and you'll go to the right place. I did all that by hand. I did it all. So here's the thing that I can say with confidence, because I'm a moron, Nick, and you know this more than anyone else. Like, I'm a tech guy of the lowest tier, but like, I can make it happen. I know, as someone who has been on apps watching live odds change live, they can make it so that different athletes could have specific controlled profiles where they can only bet on things that are permissible based on their sport and whatever. So, for example, the picture that's circulating of Shohei Ohtani nervous at an NBA game, blah, 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 whatever, I have no problem with that, Nick. What's wrong with Shohei Ohtani betting on the NBA? There's no problem with that. It has nothing to do with his sport. And to me, besides a draconian measure of, athletes can't gamble, which again, draconian measures throughout history are proven to not work because people are never going to not do that thing completely. So you have to be able to bend it. There is the resources and the technology. If I can do it in my classroom situation, these organizations can make a situation where these players can log on to athlete-specific apps, gamble on things that are permissible for them, and be able to get what we all are now gaining access to, but not, gamble in a way that undermines their sport. And that is, I think, the way that it's going down now leads to fixing because it's open to athletes and the temptation is very strong. And this is a problem that we have as a species, is recognizing that temptation and the ability to resist temptation is never perfect for anyone, and we should be able to design and organize based on recognizing that fact. You know what I mean?
Dude,
I just fixed it. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I think you might actually have.
I just called to say you're welcome. Maui, bro. I Maui'd it, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, you did pat yourself on the back. Yeah, I did it all by hand for my students. Dude, I would have sent a Zoom link to the wrong teacher. I'm on COVID break, dog.
Dude, I gotta tell you, it was quite an undertaking and a project, and I never think of it in terms of like job interviews and stuff, but it was and this is the thing, and this is messed up, and I know COVID was really awful for a lot of people, but I'll tell you, in terms of like my skills and abilities, when COVID happened, I got to be like, I'm on this, because I love using digital technology. I mean, the way I adapted all my kindergarten lessons and like taught these kids how to read without like being able to like do the things that you would do, dude, it was a thing of beauty. But like you've said before, dude, those times are gone. They're legend now. Who knows who will pass them down? We'll see. Let's talk about mushrooms for a second. Everyone chill, not the drug. Because I had a Philly cheesesteak last night. It was a DeBella's cheesesteak, but let's be real, it was a Philly cheesesteak. And Nick wonderfully, he was his turn for dinner. Appreciate you, Nick. I was gonna get milkshakes 6 times in a row. Bolero doesn't have ice cream. We're not gonna go too deep into that, but explain to me how you can have leagues where like 70 plus people are coming and you don't have ice cream? Is ice cream hard to find? Am I confused?
Dude, have
I missed something?
We're the only 2 people that give milkshakes, dude.
I disagree, dude. And the waiters are trained to not come follow up. I'll go check to see if we have ice cream. If I don't see you and ignore you for the rest of the night, assume we don't have it. Great, thanks. Great.
Fantastic. Our teammate had to go to the general manager because our teammate works there, and he was like, "Yo, you got ice cream?" And he was like, "No." And he was like, "Yeah, dude, the waitress never followed up with us."
Unbelievable. So I'm having my Philly cheesesteak, and Nick goes, "Dude, does that have mushrooms in it?" I'm like, it's a Philly cheesesteak, dude, of course. He goes,
First off, no, stop right there. Mushrooms do not go in a Philly cheesesteak.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. You ever gone to Philly and ordered a cheesesteak? They do not go in a cheesesteak.
Have you gone to Philly and ordered a cheesesteak?
Dude, my family's from Pennsylvania. Yes, I've gone to Philly and ordered a cheesesteak.
My family's from Pennsylvania. Okay. Didn't realize you were so invested in the steel industry. Go ahead.
Dude. That's how I make my money. No, dude. No, mushrooms don't go in a cheesesteak, dude. Onions and peppers go in a cheesesteak.
So I'm going to tell you this. If your feeling of mushrooms is my feeling on peppers, pass. I will pass on peppers 10 out of 10 times. And it's the consistency. I just don't need them. I don't need them. They're in the way.
I hear you.
if it's a stuffed pepper, I'm into it. I won't not eat peppers. Jalapeno popper, give them to me. But
I'm not a cream cheese guy, so I won't need a jalapeno popper.
Yeah, I mean, cream cheese, I'll tell you, there's a guy on Instagram, I'm sure people know about him, who his videos are he just talks on crock pot recipes until they add a whole thing of cream cheese.
Oh, yo, dude, that dude.
And he ends in the first 10 seconds every time. And they're really stupid. But, dude, these recipes where you just put a whole block of cream cheese. The first time I made jalapeno poppers, and it was like, get a whole block of cream cheese, I was like, really? That sucks. I don't want to do that. Maybe I'll have to find a way to change my recipe. All right. I don't know how long it's been. I don't know what's going on, but we're at the end of all my list. And I have a story to tell. And it's a story of someone who chose to make a heroic act and the people turned on him. Okay? And to this day, Nick, and who knows how long I'll be, allowed to stay on this planet, I'll never understand how this went down. Okay?
I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, I used to so if you live in our area in Connecticut and you travel north or south, you interact with 95. And if you have to go up and down on 95,
God bless your soul.
Well, but you learn things about it. It's a whole thing. And one of the things that you learn is really in the afternoon. I don't really think this happens in the morning. But on the commute back, when you're in standstill traffic, people drive in the breakdown lane. And they drive fast. And for someone like me, Nick, who has taken time to learn about philosophy and morals and the consensus ideas of right and wrong, it's hard to sit there and accept someone using the breakdown lane to pass us all, okay? That's something that for me, Nick, are you going to be a bystander or not? I don't know how you feel about that. Let's pause there. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know if you have the same moral obligation to maintaining what is right in the world. I don't know if that's something that matters to you.
Dude, there's a specific spot on I-95 that if I don't get on the Mara Parkway, I go and it becomes a 5-lane part to 4-lane, and then it merges into 3. And dude, I'll always get in the right lane and just ride that 4th lane merge in between so people can't get in.
I have no problem with riding the merge. We can talk about that. But if I'm sitting there, rolling at 2 miles an hour, and all of a sudden the gust of the wind of someone rolling by me at 55 in the breakdown lane, you've committed an act against God. And Nick, you know me, and I've told you about my advanced knowledge of theology, and when I say that you've committed an act against God, that's a real big thing for me to say. And so for me, I have to protect humanity. I have to do it. And God. Because sometimes God isn't there to protect all of us, so we have to stand up and do the right thing. And this was over years on 95, so one day, I saw him coming because I'd been watching for a long time, Nick. But it was a day of action, okay? Normal day, normal afternoon. The car's coming, and I pulled into the breakdown lane. Probably about 65% of the car in the breakdown lane, 40% in the lane. That's 105%. You do the math on your own how that worked out. But the guy has to slam on his brakes. He looks like he could be the Godfather. So right away, that's a little like, damn, this ain't, this guy's got connections. He owns a Greek restaurant and he has a pistol somewhere. And it's just, listen, I've seen enough movies. His anger was real. But this is where the shock and the betrayal happened. Everyone else was honking at me, Nick, and pissed at me. Because my thought is, I'm going to block him. He's going to have to merge. Get in the line and behave yourself. Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, then just another one.
But that's how I felt, okay? But instead, everyone started honking at me, looking at me, flicking me off, giving me a hard time. I pulled back in, the dude sped off, and I realized, Nick, that my commitment from a very young age to commit myself to education, to help humanity, was all a lie. That was the moment, Nick.
I mean, dude, I
I'm just telling you about this is a personal podcast.
Staring at the rear view mirror, just looking, waiting. You're like, there it is. Dude.
And I didn't do it for me. It was for the people, and I was really quite shocked about
but you did it for you, bro. Don't get it twisted. I'm surprised people turned against you. I would have been like, that's a real dude right there. That's a real G.
Because I am. And I don't need to be recognized as it, but I'd like to be recognized as it, you know?
It's not a need, it's a want. I get you.
So, at this point, we're going to say goodbye to all the podcast folks. Hope you enjoy your Easter weekend. If you want to catch our next segment, go check out our YouTube video. I don't even know what time we're at, but we're going to go ahead and transition over to our YouTube specific material. Goodbye to all of you.
Peace.
All right. Hi, everyone. So we're now on our YouTube exclusive, and Nick and I had a little debate last night because Nick is, I represent the old gaming crew of I just want to have fun. I'm exploring. It's great. And Nick, you're a little bit more hardcore when it comes to your gaming, right?
It depends on the game.
Oh, okay. I mean, I would say every game you've ever talked about, but sure, go ahead.
Well, that's because they're all competitive games, but I don't know, it's Paper Mario. I ain't gonna talk.
No, fair enough. But Nick's real with it. Oh, I didn't tell you. I downloaded the Pokemon game that you talked about last night on my Switch. I haven't played it yet, but I have it, by the way. Pokemon, the League of Legends game.
Oh, Pokemon Unite. Yeah,
I got it. So if you want to play it, I'm down. But here's the thing. I am an originalist when it comes to Pokemon. Okay, I grew up with the original 150, and I sort of take offense to some of these new age Pokemons. So I tried to find a slideshow that will show us Pokemons that we can comment on them, and I can, because I just spoke about on the podcast, I am an arbiter of truth. I can tell you whether these are Pokemon or not, and you should be able to believe what I have to say, Nick, okay? My opinion is just a little elevated. It is.
You don't have a higher opinion on Pokemon.
Well, that's really great.
You're on the nostalgia train of, I didn't even try any of the other games, dog. We showed him a Pokemon the other day, Buzzswole. It's just a buff bug. And he's like, dude, that's whack. Nah, get out of here. That Pokemon's dope.
And I am so glad that you say that, because it shows that someone who has sort of that objective outlook like me, there's something to react to from someone like you who, exactly like you said, was caught up in the fervor of these new ones being released, that dopamine release, and sort of has a more subjective opinion, whereas my opinion is more objective in nature. So I'm glad that you clarified that. So let's look at the video. Let's react. It's all the legendary Pokemon in order from when they were released, okay? So I think this will be good to talk about, and I'm going to say whether they're a Pokemon or not.
Yo, mute. Did you mute this thing?
No, I can hear it.
I can hear it too, but I don't want to hear it.
Well, here's what I'm gonna say. I'll mute it. Well, no, I mean, okay, we can mute it.
I just can't hear you over the do.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, because I muted it.
So here's what I'm gonna say. These Pokemon are perfect. Do you want to comment on Moltres? Because you're wrong, but I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Dude, first off, Articuno, Zapdos, chef's kiss. Moltres looks like a fiery rubber chicken.
But
Cheeks, bad, awful, horrible, not elegant. No, bad, done.
Let's
Everyone
let
will
the
agree
video
with me.
play.
See you
Look
later.
at the elegance of her sweep right there. I think these Pokemon are perfect. This is Generation 1. So, again, this is what I grew up with. This is perfect. And these are obviously, you know, Mewtwo
Fire,
and Mew.
fire.
Amazing. There's nothing
Fire.
to be said besides how incredible they are.
Although. Oh,
Lord.
Mega Evolutions. Pause it, dude.
Oh, I hate this.
Oh.
No,
Dude.
go. I mean, I
Dude, how can you not? One's a fighter, one's a mini. Looks like Goku, dude, or.
They're still Pokemon. What I'm concerned about is, are they Pokemon or not? These are Pokemon, so it's a 1 for me. It's a 1 or 0 for me, Nick. These are 1s for me. I'm into it. This is
Those
new
are
for
all
me, though.
fire.
Yeah, these
Those
are
are
all
all
1s.
fire.
These are all 1s. I've seen these before.
Suicune is fire. Suicune's dope.
No, these are all Pokemon. I mean, they're Pokemon. That's the thing is, some of the stuff you were showing me last night, they're just not Pokemon. Yeah,
Fire.
I mean, Lugia, come on. We've all hawked a good Lugia and talked about it. Yep.
But why isn't Lugia water type? He's the god of the sea. Fire. Celebi's fire.
I know nothing about Celebi, but I'm into it. It looks like a Pokemon to me. You know,
Dude,
I think, okay, let's
Dude.
stop right there.
Dude,
What the hell am I looking at right now?
Okay,
Oh,
so
gosh.
first
the
up,
one
dude,
on the right isn't a Pokemon, but go ahead.
Dude, first up, I'm gonna agree with you. The designs, horrible.
Yeah, this is
But-
terrible.
Horrible. But I will say this: to get these Pokemon in game, you had to do like a certain sequence. You had to like learn how to read Braille. I just used a guidebook on how to do it. And you had to do a certain sequence, and then you had to unlock it. So they wouldn't just appear. You had to do certain things to unlock them. So like getting
the
them was
first
super
two
sick.
I'm not against. The first two I'm not against, but the last one is not a Pokemon to me. The last one is a character in Metal Gear Solid, like security guard that you have to sneak by or something like that. It's not a Pokemon. It's just
So
not a Pokemon.
these legendary stink. Like their stats are bad. So
All right, good. So we agree that they suck. I mean, just by looking at them, I'm not impressed.
no, they're not good.
I'm not
Although
impressed.
they are.
Well, I'm not impressed. And like I said, I'm more.
These are fire.
Yeah,
These
no,
are fire.
These are Pokemon. I mean, again, are
Jets,
they Pokemon
dude,
or not?
They're Jets, dude. Latios and Latios. I'm a Latios guy. That's their mega
These are
evolution.
Pokemon. Oh, that's their. Okay, sure. Why not?
But I don't really like.
Oh,
these
so they
guys,
both become that. Are they different? They don't
Yeah.
look different.
Yeah, they are. These, dude, the best trio
So,
ever. Dude.
Are these now? Can I ask you a question? Is this the Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander of like the new generation, or like is this the ones you picked?
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
They look like it though, don't they?
Pause it. Let me tell you about these dudes, dude, because. Oh, dude, what a bad opportunity. Dude, so the Bluefish is the creator of the seas.
Okay.
The big red guy is the creator of land, and they hate each other, right? Because Kyber's like, we want the whole thing to be water, and Groudon's like, well, dog, there can't be water, we need land. The green one is like the big brother that's like, hold up, we need both. And they're just dope. So they always battle. Sick cutscene when I was 6.
I mean,
All right.
for me personally, it sounds kind of like these Pokemon do not deliver that message to me. So I would have to see the cutscenes because I'm not convinced from what you say. Just to be honest, they're not.
How about this,
Lord.
dude?
That's closer. But they're Pokemon. Pokemon don't. They're not gods. Like you just described a god interaction. You know?
What about this one?
Yeah, I mean.
What do you think about this one?
A wish Pokemon. No, that's interesting. I like that. Okay, I'm into that. She's a Pokemon. I get it. Okay, these are no. These are not.
How is that not a Pokemon? How is that not a?
I mean,
it's
I
Mewtwo,
guess,
just in a
but
different way.
no,
it's
this
Mewtwo
is
in a different
no,
way.
this is whack.
No,
This
that's
is
a
whack.
Pokemon.
I mean, fine,
You're
but
wrong.
these are whack. I mean, they're whack. It's fine. Are they all one thing? I'm not really even sure. I mean, yeah, these are Pokemon. I agree with that. The problem is it was tough to find slideshows because I feel like it's the basic ones that really struggle. Yeah, I mean, look at these guys. You have any thoughts on these?
Yeah, dude, they're sick.
Yeah, no, I
I
agree.
mean-
They're pretty dope.
But this is where it gets like gaudy.
What in the heck? I'm into it. This is good.
Dude, I knew when we watched them.
But the problem is why
I
don't
told
these
you
guys run the planet? No, this is good. All right, yeah, that's a good Pokemon. I'm into that.
This dude is the Lava Dome Pokemon.
All these
dude.
legendaries are working. Yeah, no, the grass is...
Wait, dude, that's the original of those 3 that you hated.
The original of
Like
these ones?
Reggie Gigas. He was the original. Like, remember the one that looked like a block of ice?
Oh, this one?
Yeah, this guy's like their dad, basically.
Interesting.
And
All right.
dude, the people who know actual Pokemon lore are gonna be ripping us in the comments.
Good.
Dude.
I hope they do. I hope they do. That'll be great. All right. Regitatis. Regititties?
Regigigas.
Oh, those are G's. Yeah, I mean, those are Pokemon. I mean, come on.
But I knew you were gonna think because the legendaries are gonna look
fairy-like.
like. Yeah.
No, they definitely reserved the legendaries for the most Pokemon, but they've had some real departures. What the heck? Alpha.
That's the god.
What does
of
it mean to be an
Pokemon.
Alpha? That's Zeus of the Pokemon, you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay, if you say so. Victory Pokemon? What does that even mean? What's a victory Pokemon?
I don't know. He's got a V. His ears look like a V. I don't know.
Now these
Are
just
these
look like,
Pokemon?
these feel like ones we've already seen before.
Oh, so you're saying Pokemon got lazy?
I mean, these are the ordinary form, resolute form. What's the difference? He's got a horn sticking out, I guess. Oh, give me a break. I mean, yes, but like, wow, we're reaching here. You guys said Generation 6 last night, and I'm like, that's too many. You're like, there's 9.
Which one are we on? Where are you? My thing just.
Tau Trio?
Check. Oh, yeah.
Tau Trio?
Dude, those are dragons.
Those are decent at best. Boundary Pokemon. What's even the story? Like, are you serious? This is
They
too
fuse
much.
them.
This is too much.
What about the- dude, I-
Melody Pokemon? Give me a break of that kid.
This Pokemon's whack, dude.
I mean, okay, but yikes at the same time.
I
It's
would
a
say this
bug
one's
with
not very Pokemon-y.
Yeah, with the grenade
This
launcher.
is Gen 6, dude.
All right, the one on
These
the
are
right
sick.
is Zerg from Blizzard. Like that's no. This is.
What about
just-
the other two?
They're all right. Ugh. I don't love when it evolves into a person from like a dog. Like I don't that like what is that middle form?
Well, that's not its
What's the
evolution. Those
theme
are just
here?
its forms.
Oh,
What about
gotcha.
this one?
Yeah, that's good. It's permissible. It's permissible.
Like, but just barely passes, I feel like. for you.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I actually like this one. The dude, Bugsy in One Piece. Like, I'm a big flying hands. Like, I like that detached Charizard thing.
Yo, what about this
Yo,
one,
that's
though?
a 10 out of 10 right there. That
This
could have been
Pokemon's
first generation.
sick, dude.
Yeah, Volcanian's a 10 out of 10. Never seen it before in my life, but yeah, I mean, this reminds me of the Ghost Pokemon, a Nebula Pokemon. Give me a break. Are they coming from space?
Actually, yeah.
What the hell is the one on the right?
Lunala. It's the
These
moon,
are
bro.
literally from space? Man, they've just gone too far. That's crazy. This is upsetting me. What?
This one's sick.
It is,
I think the cross
it is
was
sick,
dope.
but it's more of a Digimon than a Pokemon. I'm just being real about it. More
about
Yu-Gi-Oh than
Magearna?
Pokemon.
What about this one? This one's boring.
I hate it. It's a 0 out of 0.
This one's sick.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a legendary. It looks like a basic. All right, that's it. All right,
Oh,
you know
they're-
what? The legendary delivered. The legendary delivered. I'm glad for that. I tried to find a
Oh,
better
dude,
slideshow. I
there's
couldn't
all
find it.
Pokemon starters, dude.
Oh, click it.
Now that might be a good one for next one. I mean, I'll click it right now. Swear to God.